Now, the two session had concluded with Chinese President Xi Jinping urging the strengthening of national security, military power, and reunification with Taiwan. The session also impacts regional security as well as Indonesia. And to know more about this, now we have the Deputy Chief of the Mission at the Indonesian Embassy in Beijing, Mr. Dino Kusnadi, here in the studio. Pat, good afternoon. How are you? Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yes.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, great opportunity that you're here in Jakarta at the moment. So we want to discuss about some things regarding China and its relationship with Indonesia. So just last week, they finished the two sessions. So not everyone is familiar with National People's Congress of China, or NPC. So can you elaborate this NPC, and also why do they come to the term two sessions?
Well, two sessions is it's called the People's Congress. Yeah, so two sessions are representatives, of course, and the other is for advisories, bodies, think tanks, academics, and so forth. So because it involves think tanks and advisories and people who are known into the technical of policy making, you have that. It opens a day earlier. And then it was followed by the National People's Congress, which is representatives from various provinces and areas, minority groups, that is representing all of that of China. So these are actually two, but of course, the main body is the national representatives, the NPC, the National People's Congress. But both are what we call the two sessions.
Right, okay. Now, we want to continue because just now I was reading that, and the observers will pay close attention to of course, the party officials being appointed. Now, we're just wondering now, what maybe there is your thoughts about the selections of the cabinet, the CPPCC, as well as other party state institutions?
Well, I think, again, the matter of elections and people who are being chosen by the people is within the Chinese legislative process that we have to respect, and it is their way of being, I think, for so many decades already. So we know that that process is mature and that they are, I think, very confident with what they're doing. What we see now is that whether that system can provide prosperity and benefits for their people. So within that process, we have to respect that. It is part of their domestic politics, where we don't get into. But we see what is the advantages that Indonesia can get within the bilateral relations with China.
Well, what do you think are the impacts? I mean, China seems to put more aggressive targets of growth as well as expenditure on its ammunitions and so forth. And we know that the geopolitical situation here in Asia, in the Indo-Pacific, is not as calm as it's before. So what do you think it has got to do with the relationship with
Well, we have to
China,
see within the perspective first of putting the values. When they increase a certain numbers and so forth, do we see that it's within the needs of them, or is it outstanding in parts? So whether, I think it can still be debated whether that it is aggressive or not, or it is within their rights to do so. For that, I think the debate is within the scholars or people who are actually into the researching China more closely. But for us at the embassy, what we see is we seek collaborations also with China that can always grow. For the past 3 years, we've seen significant of cooperation with China, even during the pandemic, when the economic numbers, global economic numbers, were going down, but our trade was moving up. In 2021, we've passed the psychological $100 billion in total trade. But also ASEAN, within the same year, is also China's #1 trading partner, with around 750 billion in 2021. It became almost 900 something in 2022. So China has a huge interest in forging a win-win, and I think bringing prosperity to both sides in the context of economics. And this is where I think we are heading forward. And it is sustainable. It will grow also. So we need to, I guess, understand each other. We have to see within the context. And we have to see on the regional aspects that China is indeed ASEAN's closest neighbor. or one of ASEAN's closest neighbor.
Yes, yes. Now, Pa, you mentioned collaboration and also forging the win-win situation. Now, we also understand there's a thing called the four-pillar cooperation. We're covering politics, economic, people-to-people exchange, and then, of course, maritime projects. Now, how do you see, or how do these four pillars benefit or affect us Indonesians?
Well, several weeks ago, of course, we've seen Foreign Minister Ching Kang visited Jakarta and met with Ibu Menlu Retno. Significantly, that was the first visit to the region exclusively made to Indonesia. So we see how China wants to forge first with Indonesia and see how we can continue on within the context of our bilateral relations. The four pillars, of course, that it is within the context of a partnership that we had since 2013. So both sides, when President Xi Jinping arrived in 2013, we upgraded our relationship into a strategic, comprehensive partnership, which means that it's not within that four pillars, but also within the subsector of those four pillars that we can collaborate. And this moved very quickly. Together with the FTA within ASEAN, you see the economic becoming the main engine of growth in the relations, followed by stability within the level of our leaders, but also our ministers. But also the foundation is the people-to-people contact. So again, those three, as you mentioned, four pillars, of course, with the consulate and so forth, those have to be in line together. Without a strong foundation, the engine would just sputter. But also, if you don't have good relations among leaders, there would be noise, mistrust, and so forth. This, we have a very strong bond within all those four sectors.
Yeah, talking about, you say, people to people, which is the foundation of the two countries' relationship. You are here in Jakarta for some of the accompanying some of the business leaders of China that comes here for the Indonesian Jakarta Expo. So what are the efforts, or what are the efforts of Indonesia to maintain its relationship with China, not only talking about its business point of view, but also, you know, for the long run, that talks about more into, you know, deeper relationship?
Well, I'm here, I think, is just to continue on what we had 3 years ago when we were disrupted in our people-to-people contact because of the global pandemic. But also, the relationship should always be mutual. And with this mutual, the relations with China is that we try to have an added value, what we can get from China. And we've been very successful for the moment because a lot of our priorities are being fulfilled by China, and that we try to gain a lot of win-win from both sides. Not just on the trade, but also in investments, but also in whatever I think priorities that our president are trying to make happen, where I think other countries are not able to do so. At this moment, of course, there's many interests of businessmen trying to establish contacts. Now, as they try to establish contacts, business-to-business contacts, we have to make sure also that, that the interest of Indonesia is represented there. So for us, the Chinese trust us to ensure that their mission here is successful. But for us, we also have to ensure that it meets the people, the exact people for them to benefit and have a long-term relationship in the past. We've been neighbors, if not hundreds, thousands of years we've been dealing. We've even shared a common culture with China, whether that we recognize it or not. So again, we have to think on the long term because whatever it is, we will always be neighbors in the region.
Now, speaking of long term, we know there's this cooperation through the synergy of the Belt and Road Initiative and, of course, the Global Maritime Fulcrum. Now, what do you think about that plan for Indonesia and China moving forward to conduct a very in-depth and...
Well, in my own words, these are like two hands clapping together. At one point, we have an interest to develop our infrastructure. When President Joko Widodo mentioned about uniting the archipelagic states of Indonesia within the fulcrum. The fulcrum means that we connect between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. That's where the fulcrum is. And within that fulcrum, we need to rapidly invest and develop our infrastructure. And at the same time, if we remember President Xi Jinping, when he came in 2013, in front of our parliament, he specifically launched the Maritime Silk Road at that time. It wasn't BRI, but he mentioned that there is a Maritime Silk Road. So within that context, we try to develop both sides, whether that we can connect, that they want to build a connection of the Maritime Silk Road to that of ours. And at this moment, we feel that all the priorities that the president wants is being fulfilled with the context of the assistance of the Belt and Road initiatives. Again, that's for us is an added value collaboration.
Yeah.
It is also win-win, but I think at this point it really reinforces us again. Who knows in the future, maybe that the development that we do now will become a shared culture in the future.
Right.
Well, we know that there is this KCIC, or the speed train,
Yep.
the collaboration between Indonesia and China. Can you update us on the latest development?
Well, since I'm based in Beijing, I may not be updated to the latest development here. But in our perspectives here, we see how the impact of the fast train in China impacted the change or the change of the mentality of the society. In 2008, it was the first line of Beijing to Tianjin. Now it's almost 35,000 kilometers of network all over China. With, I think now they're planning by 2035 to become 75,000 kilometers in network.
Okay.
But existingly now, this fast train has passed through all cities with the population of more than 1 million. So we can say that there's an appreciation from the Chinese public about time efficiencies, about high-tech cleanliness, about the efficiency of buying tickets, the efficiency of respecting people who are not having access on remote areas to also share closely connections with other parts of China. And it's very, I think, very popular among the common people to use that in a more, I think, efficient ways. And this changed the mindset of Chinese, as I see it, because now, since 2020, I couldn't imagine what China was until I arrived there, that the people are very disciplined, the people are very clean, the roads are clear, it's safe there also. So we see these changes, and I'm sure, if I'm not a sociologist, that fast train contributed to the spread of mindsets all over parts of China.
Yeah, of course, and also contributing on the economy as well, we believe so. And you mentioned earlier about trade partnership between Indonesia and China too. And then at the moment, I think, if I'm not mistaken, with my stats now, we're number 3 in ASEAN as far as being the trading partner with China. What do you think the opportunity, if there are any opportunity, big opportunity for us going forward, moving faster in trading with China?
Well, my ambassador, Joharyo Ratmangun, he's always preached that the relationship will always grow and grow, and that its engine is within that we complement each other. And by complementing each other, it means that it was the pattern that we had in the past, that China has what Indonesia needs, and we can provide China what China needs. Now, on the people-to-people aspects, as you say, engine of growth economy, but on the people, it has to be felt by the people. Indonesians, small and medium enterprises, businesses, we hope that China can also give access to the small and medium enterprises so that it can also alleviate poverty in Indonesia. Also in China, China also needs a lot of processed goods from our side. We can provide that. So that balance, again, is, I think, a crucial part that we have to manage it well. And it's a long process. It has a continuation. It has to be continued, everyone, and that it can't be stopped. We have to be very consistent on we grow from one level to the other. It's like building a pyramid.
Right.
Everyone should contribute a brick into building that relationship.
What matters.
And continue it on. And we've been doing so. I'll just ask you, there's a lot of our foods is influenced by China already.
Right.
And we don't even realize it because
Right.
it evolved into something that it become ours.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Well, hopefully it's a good opportunity and also a good future for Indonesia and China.
Thank you.
And Pak Dino, thank you so much for speaking
you, Pak
here.
Dino.
No, it's my pleasure.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that was our discussion with Mr. Dino Kusnadi, who is the DCM of the Indonesian Embassy in Beijing, China. And now we're going for a quick break before we start again with updates
And of
from
course, from business, right? Maria's going to come back and then she's going to tell you again what's going to happen, especially now we're coming into the month of Ramadan. So stay tuned here on the 3 Hour News Show.